what is employment interviews.
Company has seen your credentials on the resume that you submitted. Now, you're in the next crucial phase of selections, and the company wants to get to know you better aside from what's in your credentials. This is where the employment interview comes into use. Don't take job interviews lightly. They're a crucial step in landing your dream job and advancing your professional development. By definition, an employment interview is a formal conversation between a job applicant and a potential employer. Additionally, an employment interview can vary in format, length, and the number of participants, depending on the type and level of the job. Most importantly, the main purpose of the interview is to evaluate the suitability of the applicant for the position and to provide information about the job and organization. Employment interviews can be done in different mediums. First, traditional, a one-on-one setting. Second, panel, where a candidate is accessed by multiple interviewers. Third, telephone. Fourth, informational. It is not a formal job application, but rather an opportunity to network and gather information for your career development. Fifth, meal. The purpose of the meal interview is to assess the candidate's interpersonal skills, communication style, and etiquette in a more informal settings than a traditional interview. 6. Group, where multiple candidates are interviewed at the same time. 7. And the last one is video call. In interviews, it is important to understand that not only certificates and diploma will qualify someone for a position, but also their attitudes and behavior. Some even say that an interview starts before the questioning happens, so it is necessary to maintain a pleasant impression of oneself, even in body language and speech. There are two common types of interview questions a candidate will probably encounter: situational questions and behavior description questions. Situational questions focus on asking someone what they would do in a given situation, while behavioral questions ask a candidate what they have done in certain situations. For example, you disagree with the supervisor in her handling of a situation. What would you do? Is a situational question, while tell me about time you had to make hard decisions. How did you handle this process? Is a behavioral description question. As a candidate, we must know labor laws that protect them even before official employment, as even in the phase of employment interviews. There are some illegal and inappropriate questions they may be subjected to in their interviews. Here are some topics that should not be discussed during an interview. First, age. The Anti-Age Discrimination in Employment Act. Republic Act 10911 specifically prohibits requiring the declaration of age or birth date during the application process, as they may trigger biases, consciously or subconsciously. When did you graduate from high school? However, asking are you over 18 is acceptable. Second, marital status. You can't ask their question about marital status or ages of children, as this question implies that having a family or not will affect one's chances of employment. In some cases, companies prefer candidates with no parental responsibilities and plans, as they are not likely to take paternal and maternal paid leaves. Third, disabilities. Under the Magna Carta for persons with disability, companies should not deny any disabled person of any work opportunities, and companies should not use any qualification standards that screens out disabled person, unless said tests are job-related for the position. For example, a company cannot deny a non-hearing person of an opportunity for a job if their disability doesn't negatively affect the position they applied for. These topics may vary depending on factors such as law of the country one is applying in, but those mentioned previously are effective in the Philippines based on labor laws. Note that interviewer must not require or request someone to supply information that could be used to form basis of discrimination. Remember, interviews are not only for employees to be accessed, but also for employees to access their compatibility with the company and its working culture. Interviewers would also create opening for employees to ask back. With all these factors known and considered, the most important thing to remember that failing a job interview doesn't degrade a person's value as a professional. Sometimes that person is just not what they're looking for, and that is fine, because it doesn't affect their chances on anywhere else that may find them perfectly fit for a job. Developing a rapport, being honest, and managing interview process are tips to having a successful interview.